Hi everybody, welcome to Speedway Motors. My name's Tim. We're here at the Museum of American Speed, one of my favorite places of all time, and today's a really special day. It's a real honor. I've got a guest sitting here next to me. His name's Elvis Rankin, and he's a great race car driver, and we're so excited. He had an idea not long ago that his race car should be in our museum, and we were so honored. This morning when I got to work, his truck was already pulled up and he was unloading this thing. We've got it all set up. You're going to let us borrow your car for a little while, aren't you, Elvis?
2 years, actually.
Oh, it's so exciting. Elvis, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you love racing. Is that true?
That's true. Well, I'm 9 years old, and I am from Denver, Colorado. Evergreen, Colorado, and, this year I started doing the national tour. We've had a bunch of wins this year, and this year we have pulled off one of the biggest goals. I am ranked #1 in the United States of America in junior Honda, which would be this car back behind me, same motor, and back in the case are the trophies from this year.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, I've heard when you race, Dad's your #1 mechanic. Is that true? He helps keep everything up and running and lubricated and at the front of the pack, or is it the mechanic that does that, or is it the racer? Is it the racer that wins the first place trophies?
It's a combination. There are 3 things. There's always a saying that we have, and it's you need a good motor, a good car, and a good driver. So basically, you can rely on your engine builder, which mine is Jeff Letter, and he's a great motor builder. He builds all 4 of my motors. He's the best in the business, and I think he builds me great motors, so that one's checked. And then great car setup. My dad works every single weekend. He'll even not get sleep just to work on my cars, work nonstop, and we've pursued our racing career not because of him. He said at the beginning of when I started racing, well, I am not going to get too far into this because I played golf for a year. Last year, he did not even touch a golf club, see a golf club, or swing one. And this year, we've not been home, which is Evergreen. So, sacrifice a couple of things, but it's good it pays off good. So.
Absolutely. Well, it's such a pleasure. If you walk around the Museum of American Speed, we have examples of historically important race cars going all the way back to the turn of the century. But we also have modern stuff, and that's why we were so excited when you and your family called us and said, hey, we'd love to loan out our car to you, put it in the collection so visitors can see it and see what a modern quarter midget looks like. We were so excited. But then to have a national champion's car, and then to have the national champion himself stop by and be a part of this, getting everything set up, you gotta imagine. It's an honor for us too. We're so excited about it. And I think a lot about you being in this race car and what it must feel like. Tell me a little bit about your racing. Well, how do you feel when you're in the car? Are you pretty calm, or do you get kind of nervous when you go to race these other kids?
Well, there's one little story. When I was young, I drove my first ever quarter midget. Not this one. I was 4.5, and I basically there are 3 things Tad Pfizer said. He will either get in the car and never push out, he will crash it in the wall, or he will drive it nice. Apparently I drove it nice, and then I was 4.5, so I'm not tall enough to see over the top of the roll cage. So, instead of sitting straight up, I had to lean out. Because there's an open at the back, so if you look at this car, both sides are open. This car, only back side is open. So, you can lean out, you can sit in, you can do whatever you want.
Helps you kind of see out. Now, I've heard you've tipped your car over a time or two. Is that pretty scary?
There are a couple of tips that are not bad, but the baddest wreck I've had has not been a flip. There were 2 of them. The first one's at Pikes Peak International Raceway. I was driving through a wreck, and of course, I'm trying to turn the wheel down because there's this huge wreck on the pileup. I'm trying to turn it down, full throttle. I barely get it. One of my thumbs hurt, and then the other one was in Texas. And basically what happened is, this is why good car and good driver. I was already, and I like to burst out of the gate a little bit and burp it into turn 3 and 4. Well, I did that, and my wheel fell off, rolled right over. So we had to come into the pits, get the tire back on. We got back out, so it was kind of frustrating because when we missed good car, he said he forgot to tighten the wheel, so the wheel just fell off.
That happens sometimes. Now, I understand that, when the car's in the pits, you're not happy just cleaning the thing up. You like to be involved with changing tires and wheels, doing that sort of stuff. Is that right? You like to get in the mix of some of that stuff?
When I'm off the track, I have a job, and my job is not to drive. My job is to drive the car, get us as best performance as I can. And you know what? No matter how hard I try, I always say that I always give it my best effort, and I always will I will always learn from my experience, and I will have a better experience next time. And with this car, with my Honda car, although we do timing called quick times, I've never really set a track record, but I think it's not about timing. It's about who's the best driver and his efficiency of how good he drives. So basically, when I never get a quick time, I'm like, I do not care. I've gotten quick times before, never a track record setter. And I've gotten to a 4-second club. It's at Orange Hill, California. That track is like a cereal bowl. So if you had rain, it's in California, the thing would fill up with water. So
wow, pretty amazing.
Yes.
Tell me about this. Now, this is a question I had. You have the nickname the Little King. Tell me a little bit about that nickname.
Well, my mom everybody asks me, why is your name Elvis? And my name's Elvis because my mom says it's easy to remember, to pronounce, and spell. So she took that, and then when I was young, I was like, and then everyone was saying, Elvis has left the building. And I was like, why does everybody care about me leaving the building? And then when I went to this rocks and roll camp, and then I finally figured out it was Elvis Presley. So I have the nickname Little King because he was the big king of rock and roll. So I'm the Little King because I'm 9 and I'm young. So they just call me the Little King for now. Maybe when I get older, I'll be the Big King. I do not know yet.
Hey, I think you could be. One thing I like about you, the first second I met you, I could tell. When I used to race, I used to do some bicycle BMX racing. They always called it the eye of the tiger. I can tell you've got the eye of the tiger and you want to win and you're a professional in every sense of the word. Now, earlier you were walking around the museum, and I thought this was really great. You had your grandpa on FaceTime, and you were showing him all around the museum. Tell me a little bit about your grandpa. He's kind of a car guy, is that right?
He is one of my big supporters. Shout out to my grandpa, Gary Ader, right now. And he is my biggest supporter because when I was young, I was about an hour old, my grandpa asked my mom, are you going to let him kart? Because my grandpa wanted my mom and my mom's brother to kart, but my grandma said no. So the first thing he asked me is, are you going to let him kart? And my mom said, we'll see. So here I am. I finally kart. I actually do something safe for quarter midgets, which, we are thinking about relocating to Indianapolis. It's really changed our lives because the big thing I love about racing, is we get to spend time with the family. I get to meet new friends. I get to learn a lot of stuff. And, this year I had to stop schooling and I had to go homeschool because we agreed last year I did 6 weeks of summer school. So they said this year we're going to let you make it up. We're going to take you on the road racing for 6 weeks.
Holy cow, that sounds like fun.
So,
but it's hard work, isn't it? Because you
is.
still have to learn all the stuff that other kids have to learn. I could imagine that's fun, but it allows you to do what you love to do, which is racing.
And we try to figure out, instead of, sitting in classrooms and reading books and writing sentences and reading stories, we try on our adventures, since we travel all over the place. We go to museums and we learn about stuff, on the fun side, we like we went to the Children's Museum in Indianapolis. Really fun place, and I learned a bunch of stuff. I learned dinosaurs. There was like a bunch of stuff, and the best thing is you're also having fun. Like I learned about space, about Liberty Bell 7, and it's like, wow. It looks like when we travel, we can learn something.
Absolutely. There's nothing better than life experience. I totally agree with you. Elvis, it's been a real pleasure having you here at Speedway Motors. It's been a real treat having your car here on display. You're a great guy. You're a real professional. I know you're going to go on to do many great things with your racing career. We'll be watching you for sure.
Okay, I forgot to mention 2 things. First off, go follow Speedway Motors on Facebook. Blow up whatever they have. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, I think? You have Instagram?
Absolutely.
All right, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, go blow them up on it. And second off, all the fans, I want to thank you guys again, all my fans on Facebook. But come out and check this amazing museum, and maybe, possibly, you can see my race car in real life. And I bet that would be a really cool opportunity.
We would love for people to come. It would be wonderful to have people visit. Not only will you see, like I talked about earlier, some of the most wonderful examples of vintage race cars, but we have stuff right up to this current time with Elvis's car. Amazing guy, amazing car. Yeah, absolutely come visit us. We're so happy to have you here with us, Elvis, and I'm sure we'll be talking again. Everybody out there, thanks for taking the time to stop by Speedway Motors Museum of American Speed today. We love having you. Until next time, everybody take care.
And thank you, Speedway Motors.
Thanks, Elvis.